Just wait. Welcome to another show of Big Local Live Tarek's Community Podcast. And today I'm joined by Joe. How are you, Joe?
I'm good, thanks, Tarek. How are you?
Nice to have you on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Will you tell us a bit about what you do?
So I'm calling really on behalf of them. We've got a big local where I am. I live in Worle. It's a funny old word, Somerset word, Worle. Worle is a little suburb of Weston-super-Mare in Somerset. And we've got a big local, and it's been a bit tempestuous over the last few years. A few things have gone a bit like that, but everything's sort of clicked into place now, and we want to start doing some of what you're doing where you're from in Heston. It's sort of videos and putting podcasts out there. We just want to connect the community through media basically, and we've got lots of ideas and plans, and we haven't started yet. We've got quite a few ideas, but so we just sort of, that's what I'm doing.
So are you planning to do, for example, your own podcast?
Not podcast.
Because I hear you want to advertise your content, like your YouTube. You have a YouTube channel, right?
No, this is how early on we are. We've only asked the big local for the funding, and they've said yes.
Like,
and so
you were planning to do like a project that you wanted to advertise. Is that correct?
Yes. Well, we just want to do lots of videos. We've got lots of ideas about lots of things. So we want to do just interviews with community members. We want to do some silly little sketch films with some community members. We want to do some history stuff. We've got quite a lot of ideas, quite sprawling. But again, so the things we need the basics. We need to start the YouTube channel. We need to start looking at advertisements. We've given ourselves September to work out what we're doing, and then hopefully by October we should be, hopefully.
So what I understood you're planning to do is inspirational films that will inspire people to do different projects or different activities, something like that.
Well, that's the plan. It's all sort of media based. We want to start like a camera club. Because my partner, my friend Pete, who's running it with me, he's a photographer, professional photographer, and he's very into cameras and film, and we love film anyway. So it's that sort of trying to encourage people. We want to get some cameras and give community members, here's a camera, go and make a film out in the community for an hour, come back to us and we'll come and edit it with you. So we want to do something quite filmsy sort of based sort of stuff and documentational, which will be really exciting, hopefully. And if it inspires more people, that's the big goal. So
I would like to team up with you guys to make films, because I think films will
be awesome.
Really, really interesting to do. Especially the thing that I really want to do is I have a podcast. I know it's a sound podcast, but I hope to also make, because not many people understand what disability is. I want people to understand the meaning of disability. So I want to make like films to do with disability, because not many people know what disability is, and some people make fun of people like who have disability. So like we can create a film that makes a positive change to people, and then they might think differently for disability. So yeah.
That's a really good idea. I mean, like, I'm not sure, like, what do you think, like, documentary or sort of like fictional? What sort of thing are you thinking of?
Well, the last documentary was was Hard to Reach, and we did a documentary in my side, Big Local, and one of the documentaries that I was in was Hard to Reach, and it was all about like I used to live in Hounslow, but I live in Feltham now because I live in independent living. Basically, it's about the area in Hounslow and how people treat different people. And I clearly said, like, Hounslow, people don't treat disabled people that well. They do have a little bit of access, but not very much. So I think what I realized is using video, it, it really gets people thinking because they enjoy interactive. Yes.
I guess it's that visual thing as well, because it hits all your senses in a way. You can hear, you can listen, and you sort of see what's going on.
Yeah. Unfortunately, with this lockdown, we can't do too much like face-to-face filming. It's annoying filming. So that's why I've set up this podcast, and yeah, it's going really well. Yeah.
No, I've looked at a few. They look really good. I looked on your channel and I was like, this is good. This is good. This is what we want to do. This, yeah. Look at this. This looks perfect. Damn, we've got competition.
Like, Kaz does not know this, but I managed to get hold of an ITV member, Andrea Fox, who works behind the scenes of, when you watch a TV, something coming up on TV, she does all the voice announcers. So she gave me advice on how to put an advert the other day for my podcast, and I'm hoping to be working with her. Hopefully I'll meet her on the 19th of September, which is really exciting. So
very exciting indeed.
I've got exciting. Yeah, but the aim thing I want to get out of this podcast is basically to try and encourage people to do something in the lockdown. It could be in either film or it could be something, sound, audio, to do a film. Something that really, I don't want to get too personal, but like something that really encourage them to do something for their health, like something they're going through, to encourage people. We can achieve this together, and we can do everything. So the aim I wanted to get out of this podcast is that goal. And the reason I wanted to ask you, what are your project plans for the filming side? Have you got a plan?
Well, we've got lots of ideas. But I can just tell you a bit of my background, because my personal background, because I'm a struggling actor by trade, is my sort of plan. And this whole thing came before lockdown. My friend Pete, who I know from lots of other arts projects in the town around Weston-super-Mare, he put in a bid to do a media project. We did a media project last year with a group called Terrestrial. They came into Weston and they set up an art space, and they did a media project, which was based. They made a film about the local sea monster, the Seven Serpent, lives in the Severn Estuary around Bristol, and it was sort of it was real. It was all completely real. And we sort of did things along those lines. We made posters that were sort of hoaxes of have you seen this island and stuff. And we did a lot of photo bashing. It was really cool, and sort of audio stuff. And we put out fake news stories of town, but all in a jokingly way. So it sort of got a lot of interest from there. And then Pete sort of headed that project. I was sort of in and out of it. And then over lockdown, because I'm an actor and I've a basic range of video skills that I used to do quite a lot of videoing 5 years ago when I was at college still, and I hadn't sort of really picked up video camera since then, because I've been more sort of focused on stage acting. I was home alone. My partner, she was back home in Leicestershire, where she's from, and I was bored, and I thought, I'm going to make some videos. So I started making some silly videos, and then halfway through lockdown, I thought, why don't I make something a bit longer? Because my training at university was that you have to make shows, like 20-minute shows, solo shows by yourself. And I thought, why don't I just do that, but like a film version? So I made a short film, which is me in my room being terrified by a monster outside. Obviously, it's sort of like it's a metaphor for COVID. But it's sort of a little film about me trying to get the grips with my insanity, basically. And it's all a bit mad. There's hands, and there's tenors falling from the sky, and there's me drawing a boat, and the boat sails off the windowsill. It's all very weird. And I did a lot of films. I did some silly sketches, and I did a sketch where I did an impression of Alan Bennett.
Windowsill.
Yeah, it sails off the windowsill. I'll send you a link later. And I also made a film which was I gave myself a challenge. I had a film which was I thought, can I make a film in a day, just me and a camera? And so what can I make a film about? I've got a DVD, which it's an old DVD, and I bought it secondhand. And when I opened it up, it's from Bradford Library. It's like an old Bradford Library book a DVD that they thought, oh, we'll get rid of that because no one borrows it. The DVD of Mine or Mine, by the way, if anyone's ever heard of it. I thought, I'll make a film about returning this to Bradford Library. I don't live anywhere near Bradford. I live in Somerset. And so I went out to my local sort of like woodland area, and I thought, right, I'm just going to film. So it was just me holding a camera trying to return this DVD to Bradford Library, and I fall off a cliff. I get attacked by a sheep. I get hit by a meteor. I put the DVD in like one of those, a stone, and it starts spinning, and then I end up in Bradford Library, which is basically my dad's shed, and I end up talking to the librarian, talking to myself, and it ends on the cliffhanger. And I made that little film in a day just to see if I could do it, and I sent it to the Bradford Library, and they said, "Oh, this is great." So it was that sort. I've been making silly films over the last 5 months, and Pete said, "Oh, you're pretty good at this." So was it, Tarek?
You made me very intrigued to see them now.
Oh, yeah, I'll send you the links. They're very silly, and so I've been making those films all summer, all spring, and Pete, who already had this project going at Big Worle, he was like, "Oh, do you want to make this broad? Should we make this like a bit more filmic? And do you want to come on board and let's film things, like sketches and little short stories and stuff, and and let's also do the documentary sort of side of it." And so that's how I sort of came on board to it. And so that's I think we're a bit filmic in our ambition because of my back skills as being an actor.
While Taz was away, I was working very hard on getting different volunteers to do host training for this show. So if I wanted to go on like a break, because I've been working like non-stop, I've been trying to get as many hosts as possible so they can help me host this. I'm currently doing training with a couple of people, and you might be able to help me put this together, like into a film, but like to show them that like a training advert. You know what I'm talking about? Like a Big Local Live training advert, so they know that training is available now. So yeah, we might work together and do that if that's okay with you. And then so basically, are you planning to do? Would you encourage people to learn? Actually, you said you learn film. So what made you start film? Like, what made you get into film? Is that a hard one?
Well, it's so obviously my ambition as a young boy, as a young warthog, as a young boy, I want to be an actor. I'm getting there. So I did my acting, but I always, when I was at college, I wanted to act on TV and film, and I'd always been interested in the sort of past production side of film. As the warthog,
with me then. Could you got in touch with me then? Because I have all the contacts of ITV, so.
So I always been interested in the behind the scenes stuff because, well, I'll be honest, I'm not sure if you can see, but I've got a police box sign up there. That's my Doctor Who collection there. I'm a big Doctor Who fan, and that's all the classic series plus lots and lots of Doctor Who figures. I'm a big fan, and so I'd always loved sort of seeing the behind the scenes of Doctor Who and stuff. And I think that's what went on to other shows. I love seeing how things are made and how things were put together and how films were put together. And so I thought, I'd like to make some films. So I started doing media studies when I was at school, and in that we did a lot of filmmaking. And again, sort of another influence on me was like Monty Python, and I loved the guys. They wrote films and they made films, and I thought, well, if I could do that, I'm already singing. So I started writing sketches, acting in them, started filming them, and I start, you start watching like videos on YouTube of like how film people do their techniques, and and I'm like, oh, Steven Spielberg, he's the best filmmaker ever, or Michael Bay, or like Stanley Kubrick. How do they do that thing when they're doing, when they do a whip hand, or like Edgar Wright, my favorite directors. I sort of got interested in sort of the production side of film, and I just started making my own little silly films at the age of 15, 13. I mean, they're all a bit rubbish now, but I think it's always sort of ignited a passion in film for me. And then when I went to university, I sort of still, when I started it, I wanted to do film and TV. I was really up for that. And then by the end of the university, because it was more of a theatre course, I went, well, actually, I like theatre a lot. I want to do theatre. Theatre's really interesting. But I still have a sort of like a crossing, I'm a traitor. I still quite like film a little bit. So I was like, so this was my way of getting my hand into doing a bit of film stuff. Because I'm normally on stage. If we ever do performance, I'm not. I've done it, and that's a good point. Apart from that, I've done a lot. I've done it at university and college. I did a lot of student films, at being acting wise, and so that's always, having people there on set. I filmed 2 little short films in Spain, which is really cool. And they've got the lighting, they've got the boom guy, and they've got camera setup. Then it's, oh, you're changing the lenses. What are you doing? You're changing. What's that for? And oh, that makes it bigger. Oh, that's a wide angle. Oh, that's interesting. What's that one? Oh, it made it go. Everything's gone in. Hang on. How do you do that thing when the background goes and you go? What's that? Oh, you pull it and you zoom out. That's brilliant. Oh, that's how you did it. So yeah, but I'm really interested in those little geeky little things of film. And so, I mean, for me, I'm a tart, so I like being on screen or being on stage because I'm an actor. And so, so if I can produce it myself, or or me on stage, I'll do it. So anything that get me seen, basically. But yeah, that's sort of stuff. My love of film is just sort of loving film, really, and techniques, how things are made. And I've got like a little passion for old special effects. I'd love to do something like when they didn't have green screens, they had like glass plates. When they had the piece of glass and they used to paint the background on the top. I love all that sort of stuff. So that's me. That's my little passion, anyway. Oh, you're on mute there, Tarek.
What are the challenges that you may face when doing a film?
Challenges? Sorry, can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, like, when you started making films, what did you find challenging? Like going on stage or?
Oh, I think it's challenging. I guess with film, it's narrative, because stuff I was doing was also quite narrative and sort of actory stuff. So it's sort of trying to, especially on stage, you're trying to keep the audience's attention. Because I made a 20-minute film, and that was, your attention span going through Facebook these days, like, oh, I can only see like 30 seconds, and it's then got to grab you. So it's trying to really think, how can I keep people watching? I'm not famous. I'm not a cat jumping off a hill or something. I've got to try and keep people entertained. So so the first scene of my film is weirdly sort of, I run in and so there's a monster outside. So hopefully I'm like, I've got you. It's just keeping people, and also acting for film. Again, trying to keep it visually interesting.
Well,
that's the hard thing.
If you were to come like to your big logo and like say hide behind you and then jump, you'd be scared.
Yeah. Any monster gets me. Pete rushes in, shouts at me.
You hear this, Taz? I hope you heard this. So yeah, so the film is like a big project people do. Would you encourage people to do their own film? And let's think of topics that we could give them. I would like to set them some little tasks to do. So what films do you think, like little films, for little children, for example, teenagers, they would like to create like little mini films? Setting up a little challenge today.
Challenges. Gosh, I mean, I always think one of our things we sort of thought of, when we want to get somebody to say, look, go out and make a film. So you're saying there. I mean, Pete, my partner, he's I say partner as in he's my colleague. he has a little photo. He's a photographer, and he has a photography workshop. Or I'm giving my trade secrets here. Don't tell Pete. He gets them to go. When he's in a workshop with his students, gives them a camera. It says, or yeah, has their phone camera. Say, right, you've got to go out and you've got to film. You've got to take a picture of every letter of the alphabet in order. And I thought, oh, that's a really good sort of interesting challenge. So it gets people thinking, oh, where's an A? And you can sort of make things out of dirt. And he's saying, well, why don't we do that with film? And I thought, oh, that's a really good idea, just to get you sort of your language of film going. And then also, for little challenges, sort of make a little film about, I don't know, about being an ant, maybe. So obviously that forces you to put the camera quite low. The woodland, everything's going to be quite big. Those sort of challenges you could offer people. I mean, that's what I made that on the spot. I haven't really thought about it properly, but if it's kids, especially for boys, I made an action film when I was like 13. It's not very good. It's all that. It's all that sort of stuff. Or aliens and spaceships. They're always good. I used to get bits of string.
Have you been?
I used to put my.
I know, but have you been to Universal Studios before and saw how they do the film?
I've been to Harry Potter World.
Oh, I haven't been yet, but I want to go. You haven't been to Universal Studios because they use a special machine, like how they spray make it rain and how they use fire. They use these I don't know. I'm going to use this as an example. This is my film, by the way.
Yeah.
But they use like a cannon.
I like it.
And they, yeah, my little box.
My little cannon I got here.
They like put, I don't know, they just light it up like fire, but it's fake fire. I don't know how they do it, but it's, and then they make it,
it's like a gas canister, and they pump gas in it. Yeah. And it's like a flame sort of. Yeah. So it's like that.
Yeah, and then they use special machines to make it rain. It's really clever. Yeah, I'm really intrigued. What you do, and I'm really looking forward to see like how your project's coming about, and probably working together and like showing you how to advertise. And yeah, I'm really looking forward. Do you do anything else at all, or like what? Because you go to another big local. Let's find out a bit what your big local does. It'll be
well. In terms of our big local, it's a funny one, our big local, and it's been it's been an interesting few years for it. It's been a bit hard for our big local. We've sort of found our feet again. So when COVID came along, we were starting to get projects in. We do a craft club. We do a bingo and a coffee morning. We've got some planters. We plant lots of flowers around the area. It's really nice. We're trying to link up our local school, Beckett Primary School, which is the school I went to as well. We in terms of project wise, we haven't got much off the ground. Again, it's been quite a difficult few years for our Big Worle, for big local, and it's so this year we're meant to be okay. Right, we've got to step the game up now. We've done a lot of things. We refunded a play park in the area, and we also put some signage, for people when we put up a nature trail, and we do like little woodland walks, and this is all before lockdown. And that's sort of all we did really communally. And we've got a nice space which people can come into and meet up. But again, this year was going to be our sort of push out year. So what I was also going to put in before COVID, well, actually in COVID, we were going to do a theatre group as well, but of course, social distancing rules, you can't really do that, and it's not too practical with Zoom. But hopefully, by the end of this year, if it all comes down, we will also put in a theatre group. There's a lot of good plans in place, do more ambitious stuff, I'll say. So that's exciting. So we're not massive at the minute, but part of this sort of our media, our YouTube channel, is to try and expand it and expand knowledge of it in the wider community. So that's why we're sort of the first big projects they've given us the green light to do. So it all comes with trying to do good films and good advertising, which I'm sure you'll help me out on.
Yeah, I was I was actually recently. I told you I was talking to ITV the other day, and I was
Hmm.
recently. She, this lady watched my podcast the following week, and she sent me a link that might be useful to you. A website called Headliner, which you create
Okay.
little mini videos. So you upload, you know, like you created a video already, say for example, and you create little adverts. It creates little adverts for your videos, and it also does
Okay.
other things. I haven't really looked at it yet. But I will send you the link,
Oh,
and
please do.
I just had a brief look at it. Um, they told me to use that, and yeah, and I've also recently it's a Facebook group that I joined. It's called Successful Podcast Live,
Hmm.
and I joined a 4-day program. Yet as I've been doing a lot while you're away. um, um, yeah, it's she's there's a coach that I was talking to called Anna. She's a proper podcasting professional coach. I'm still attending the 4 days. Today's the no, yesterday was the last day, but unfortunately because of the time difference, I couldn't watch it live. So they recorded it for me in America,
Oh, cool.
and she tells you how to write a podcast pitch, how how to write not only for podcasts, but like film pitch, podcast pitch.
Hmm.
She does a lot of things. I think you might like it, and yeah, I think this project could go really well that you plan to do, and I'm really looking forward to start it with you and go from
Oh,
there.
thanks for that. I'm
And
excited.
yeah, I'm just you took all my questions to be honest. Um, but can you tell us any highlights, like your like from your big local, um, or anything that you're really looking forward to when you start this project?
So highlights of what though I've been part of my big local for must have been about this time last year, and again, like I said
Were
before,
you
it's
nervous at all? Were you nervous at all when you first started Big Local?
um a little bit because this might be the same for you, but I was the youngest person in the room by a bit of age. I thought, I don't want to be, and I'm quite bombastic. Yeah, it's the actor thing again. Hello, and it's I don't want to be like, they just think I'm a young whippersnapper who's come in to take away their coffee morning, which I didn't. But I was very eager and keen to get involved because I've a big local in Weston-super-Mare, the town itself. There's an art space there which I was part of the year before, which I'm now one of the members of, and one I run. Well, I'm part of a team that help run the building, keep that. So I've got a community project in Weston, and that was a lot of fun. And I just thought, well, I'll branch out because I literally 2-minute walk to the big local where I am, and it's right around the corner. So just try and get involved in more community projects because it really is the future. And I think in COVID times and in this age of Tories and things, I think it's probably it's going to be hard the next few years. And I thought, well, the thing that needs help is community. So I wanted to get involved in it. And yeah, I was nervous. And well, we had a lot of plans, and a lot of it was trying to set up a new system around here and trying to get things done. And we wrote our plans for theatre company, for theatre groups, and for Pete wrote his plans for media unit. And then they kept saying, oh well, we'll work on these a bit more, and then by the time we were going to use them, COVID-19 happened, so everyone was into lockdown. So it's so I mean the highlights have been meeting the new people. That's always great, and seeing there's a lot of energy in the place, which is really exciting. And I guess what I'm really looking forward to with this project is, I guess, connecting again to more people in the community. I want to do a series of sort of shows that I present. Hopefully, that will be sort of like the history of World, because World's it's older than Weston-super-Mare itself. It's in the Doomsday Book. It's got a lot of history, and I'd love to do that. That's one of our ideas for a show. We've got some other city ideas, stuff like that, which I'm very happy. I mean, it's just using film techniques, which is really, really cool. And it's just, yeah, I'm excited for the whole thing, really. So there you go.
So just, I'm interested to ask you, how you, how do I put this one? This one's quite tricky. How are you training yourself to do this project?
Well, I've started smoking and I'm crying. No, I how am I training myself?
You know how you're planning this to put this together.
Oh well, so I sit with myself 10 times a day, and I get a blackboard out, and I say, "Listen here, Joe, you've got to do this, this, and this." I I guess it's like my actor background comes in because part of my acting course was we make theatre as well, and so I've also got a theatre company, so I'm used to sort of making things with people, which is really good for this sort of project. I guess it's making people. It's just training myself to know that there's going to be some people who aren't going to like it, probably,
Yeah.
or be like, what are you doing? What do you mean? You want to film me? Hey, I'm expecting that. I'm just be wary of that. And I guess I'm just trying to force myself that positivity and trying, there's people out there who don't know film like say we do and won't get it. And for me, that's a bit like, what do you mean? What do you mean they don't get it? But just some people just don't get it. So it's trying to be, sort of keep calm and explain, look, this is going to happen here. Because again, with this project, we've had to explain how we're gonna film people and how we're gonna advertise it, how it's gonna reach people. Because some people on our steering group didn't quite click with it. They were like, what's this gonna do? And we're just saying, oh, it's gonna be great. It's gonna go all around the world. And sometimes you need to bring it back and just be a bit smaller and realize that well, we're leaping into the air too quickly. We're running before we can walk, basically. We just need to learn to walk. And so I think that's key as well. I'm saying a lot of grand things here to you, what we want to do, but also, we've got to build up to it slowly. So I guess for me as well, just keeping my head, let's not first day, let's go, right, Pete, we're going to make a film. It's going to be 2 hours long and it's going to be a blockbuster. We're going to release it in cinemas. We want to, let's make a short little film about, I don't know, the birds in the area. Or, birds and alien birds.
No, I'm
Let's
just keen to get you started as soon as possible. I'm quite intrigued.
Yeah, well, that's what we come up with. But yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we're due to meet in September again. So with your friend. Yeah, I just thought today, because this is a filming podcast, it's nice to encourage people somehow to do a film. What would you say to encourage someone to do a film? Like like it doesn't have to be the complicated way. It could be the how would you say it? The easy way.
I'd say you don't have to be on camera yourself, because as an actor, I'm used to seeing my face, and some people just don't like looking at themselves or hearing themselves. So you don't have to use yourself. You can make a film about anything, and there are so many different techniques you can do. So if you like Wallace and Gromit stop animation, try and do like a stop animation film with something, or try and do a piece to music, like a music video, but just use clip stuff, or try and find the most beautiful shots. Just do what makes you happy, and you feel that's interesting. And it doesn't have to make complete sense, because it's a beautiful film, you can interpret it. But I say start it and finish it, because you sort of have great ideas for projects, and then they just sort of stop and they sort of die. Just keep going with it. And a lot of films I was making, I was editing on my iPhone, because the iPhone software is just absolutely dandy. And I was using my rubbish Windows 7 movie maker, which is rubbish. I've now got Filmora 9. I've upgraded. I did it yesterday. But I made loads of films on it, and I think they're right. It's just a man in them.
Windows 10 keep releasing updates. That's their problem.
Oh right. Yeah.
I have Windows 10 and they keep releasing updates.
Does it get any better though? Does anything happen? Or is it stay the same?
It's always the same. Like they want to release this annoying update, and the next thing you know is always the same. And then they force you to do it. That's the problem with Windows 10.
I hate that.
But that's good advice you gave to some people. So one last question to you is, what are you planning to do at the moment with this lockdown, with your project? If you're are you planning to do breakout rooms, like invite people to tell them about your project, or what are you planning to do?
So I think me and Pete, what we want to do first off is
Because
we want to make.
we can't like obviously meet face to face at the moment because of the referendum. What are you planning to do?
So we want to make a film first about the Big Worle hub because it's, you know, not many people know about it really in terms of, and that's people also in the in our big local area. Some people don't know about it. And in Weston, the Ranger community, we want to bring as much people in as we can possible. So we want to make a little film about that. That's our first project we definitely want to do. And then there's a Facebook page in our town, which has got a lot of big hits. It's a local run Facebook page. It's called Hit Now and Then. And what we want to do is we want to post in there and say, look, this is what we're doing. This is us here. And hopefully that'll gain some interest from people in Worle. Again, and then after that, again, we might want to do some. We want to start a regular sort of meeting, and by that time, it might be able. We might be able to do it in a park or something, or if not, Zoom and breakout rooms. That might be a way. That might be the way. We were hoping we can hopefully get a bit face to face, but we'll see what happens. But that's the slow step. That's our first baby steps now. Is sort of trying to do stuff around the area, trying to get people interested. We want to do like a month making 4 films about whatever, and then hopefully post those wherever we can, every nook and cranny. Because again, me and Pete, we're both on a lot of community groups on the area. Facebook seems to be sort of the way. Twitter and any media we've got for on our website. So we want to try and get as much as we can in, and then hopefully people build it and they'll come, as they say.
Yeah. So, any last words before we finish the podcast today?
Any last words? It's a good word. No, it's exciting, and thank you for having me, Tarek.
Thank you. This is Tarek's Community Podcast. I'm your host, Tarek Mrad, and goodbye.